Welcome students to my class Accountancy Simplified. In today's class we shall discuss classification of journal. Before I start my class, I want to share a news with my students and listeners and followers that my book on accountancy, Accounting Problem A New Approach, published by mainstream publication Kolkata and written for CBSE and ISC students for class 11 is now available at Amazon. Interested students may purchase that book from Amazon. Thank you. Now let's start our class. Today's topic is classification of journal. As you all know, journal is the book of original entry or primary entry where all transactions are recorded as and when transactions take place. That journal is functionally classified into 8 classes, namely cash book, purchase day book or purchase book, sales book or sales day book, purchase return book or returns outward book, sales return book or return inward book, bills receivable book, bills payable book, and journal proper. Now, what are the functions of those 8 journals? Each journal has got a specific function. Cash book records transactions relating to cash and bank transactions. Cash book is also described as generalized ledger, as cash book does the functions of a journal as well as the functions of a ledger. Why it is called journal? Because every cash and bank transaction as and when takes place is recorded in cash book like other journal. Every journal entry is accompanied by a narration. So also every entry in the cash book is accompanied by narration. That's why it can well be described as a journal. Now, why it is called a ledger? It does the functions of a ledger, at least in terms of cash and bank transactions. Cash and bank transactions, once recorded in cash book, are not further posted in general ledger for its full expression to complete the cycle of double-entry system of accounting like other ledger accounts. For example, if the transaction is cash sales of goods, we should simply write in the cash book to sales account. But sales account will again further be posted in general ledger to complete its cycle, but cash account will never be posted in general ledger to complete its cycle. Cash book is look like a ledger as it looks, apparently it looks like a ledger. It has got one debit aspect and credit aspect like other ledger accounts. It has got one ledger folio field and it is balanced like other ledger accounts. That's why cash book may well be defined as generalized ledger or cash book is both journal and ledger. Now, cash book may be classified into 3 classes, namely single column cash book, double column cash book and triple column cash book. Single column cash book records only cash transactions, double column cash book records cash and bank transactions, while triple column cash book records cash, bank and discount transactions like cash discount allowed and cash discount received. There is another subsidiary cash book which is called petty cash book, which is mainly maintained by big companies having large volume of transactions. Now we shall go in details as to the mode of transaction is single column transaction. How to record transaction in single column cash book. We all know cash account belongs to real account, and as per golden rules of double-entry system accounting, what is the golden rules of real account? What comes in debit and what goes out credit? When there is receipt of cash, cash book will simply be debited, and if there is outflow of cash, cash book will simply be credited. If the transaction is cash sales of goods, we should simply go to the debit side of the cash book to record the transaction as to sales account and with the narration like other journal, cash sales of goods. Now, in respect of payment, we should go to the credit side of the cash book and write by with the heads of the transactions with the head of payment or expenditure as given in the problem. Single column cash book also record check transactions, check transactions. If there is a receipt of check and the check is not immediately banked and banked in the subsequent dates, we can simply put that single column check in the single column cash book in the receipt side, and when the check is deposited bank, we should write in the credit side with the description by bank account. Single column cash book is balanced periodically as per the policy decision of the organization. Single column cash book always will have either debit balance or nil balance, but it cannot have credit balances because one cannot incur more than he has got in his pocket. If you had got rupees 100 rupees in your pocket, you cannot incur more than rupees 100. So single column cash book will always represent either debit balance or zero balance or nil balance. Now, what is debit balance? We all know if the debit side of a ledger account is higher than its credit side in terms of value, it is called debit balance. We should simply cast the total transactions, all the transactions, and put the value in the debit side and post the value of the total transactions in the credit side to bring out the balance, and that is, and with the description we should write by balance CD to close the cash book for that period. This is all about single column cash book. That is very simple. Now, what is double column cash book? Double column cash book records both cash and bank transactions. It has got two columns, one cash and bank, to accommodate both cash and bank transactions. In case of cash transactions, we have already discussed in respect of single column cash book how to record transactions. A bank column is used for recording check transactions for receipt of check and payment of check. There is one concept in respect of double column cash book, that is Contra Entry. If in any transaction cash and banks appears either on the debit or credit side, we should describe it as Contra Entry. Contra Entry is recorded in both the debit side or credit side of the cash book, and that's why it is not further classified into ledger account, and that's why the word letter C is posted in the ledger folio column to describe the transaction as contra. Now, how to record transactions in bank column? If there is a receipt of check from any person or for any account, we should simply see whether there is any instruction regarding that check. If there is no instruction, we should simply put that check directly in the bank column with the description to sales or to loan account or to any personal account as the case may be. In case of endorsement of check, endorsement means transfer of check in favor of creditor of or any supplier. In case of endorsement of check, what we will do, we should simply put when the check is received, we should simply record the check in the cash column of the cash book when the check is received, and the date on which the check is endorsed in favor of a creditor. We should go to the credit side of the cash book and write the name of the creditor and put the value of the check in the cash column. As the debit was made in the cash column of the cash book, the credit is to be made in the cash column of the cash book to make the transaction complete. Now, if the check is received on 1st Jan 2020 for rupees 5,000 and the check is deposited bank on 3rd January, we should simply receive the check in the cash column on the date of receipt, and on the date of deposit with bank we should pass a contra entry with the cash and bank in the both sides of the transaction, debiting bank account and crediting cash account. We should debit bank account with the description to cash and credit cash account with the description by bank, and put the letter C in the ledger folio column to express the transaction as contra. Then at the end of the period, it may be either weekly, fortnightly or monthly, we should balance the cash book, double column cash book, both in respect of cash column and bank column. As I have already told you that cash column will never represent credit balance. You can blindly cast the debit side of the cash column. And if there is otherwise, if the cash column credit side of the value of cash column is higher than debit side, there must have been some mistakes. You must check it, because cash column cannot represent credit balance. It should always represent debit balance. We should cast the debit side transactions of the cash column and put the total on the opposite side, the credit side, and bring out the difference. But in respect of bank transactions, there may be either debit balance or credit balance, as the case may be. So we should be cautious to see if the debit side is higher, we should first cast the debit side and put the total on the credit side to bring out the balance. And if the credit side is higher, then we should first cast the credit side transactions in the credit side column and put the total amount in the debit side to bring out the balance with the description to balance CD. This is all about double column cash book. Very simple. And in respect of payment of check, we should go to the credit side of cash book and write the name of the creditor or the person to whom the check is received and put the value of the check on the date of the issue of the check in the bank column. In respect of dishonor of a check, dishonor means if the check is deposited with bank received from a customer is not cleared by bank for various reasons. Check is dishonored for various reasons, namely mismatch in the signature of the issuing authority, mismatch in the amount column and in words and in the amount column of the check. There may not be sufficient balance in the bank of the issuing authority. There are many reasons for which check is dishonored. In case of dishonor of check, if we deposit the check, the date on which the check is deposited and the check date on which the check is dishonored, we should simply go to the credit side of cash book and write the name of the person from whom the check was received. Say check is received from Mr. Ram on 5th Jan for rupees 5,000 and the check is returned dishonored by bank on 10th January. On 10th January, we should go to the credit side of bank column of the cash book and write by Ram and put the value of the check on the bank column. Because bank was debited and as because the bank has not accepted the check, bank balance is now being reduced to make the system restore the normalcy of the position of the party. These are all about the entries regarding double column cash book. Now, in respect of triple column cash book, there is another extra column, that is cash discount and cash receipt column. Discount account is in discount allowed account is in the debit side and discount received account in the credit side. Discount received means allowance given by the creditor to have prompt payment or allowance given by the trader to have prompt payment. If the allowance is given by the trader, it is called discount allowed, and if the allowance is given by the creditor, it is called discount received. Say the debit balance of Ram's account is 5,000. 5,000 is due from Ram. Now the trader has settled the account with Ram for rupees 4,900. So there is an allowance of 100 rupees, that is cash discount. What we will write? We should go to the debit side of the table column cash book and write if the amount is received in cash, 2 Ram in the cash column and 100 rupees in the discount column. Similarly, in case of payment, when we make payment to creditor, if the creditor allows us discount, we should go to the credit side of the bank, table column cash book, and write by creditor and amount of the check or cash as the may be in the respective column of cash or bank, and the discount column in the discount receipt column. So total of the discount allowed account is posted to the discount allowed account and general ledger, and total of the discount received account is also posted to the credit of discount received account, the general ledger. These are the simple difference between double column and single column. No other differences. There is the another column for discount allowed and discount received. Total of discount allowed is posted to the debit of discount allowed account as maintained in general ledger, and total of discount received account is posted to the credit of discount received account in the general ledger. Discount received and discount allowed would be apparent in the transaction. Sometimes it may have to be implied, that is to be assumed, that is to be understood from the problem. There must be some clue, and you must understand that there is a point of discount, the point of cash discount allowance or cash discount received. When the term full and final settlement used, you must assume that there is an element of discount in the transaction and act accordingly. Thank you, goodbye. This is all for today. And if you like my video, you must I would like to request you to share my video and subscribe my video for better circulation among the students community. Thank you.